I live in Boise, Idaho, in this quiet neighborhood where nothing really changes. Same coffee shop on the corner, same dog walkers every morning, same neighbors who wave but never quite stop to talk. It used to feel peaceful. Now it just feels still. My name's Claire. I'm 34. My husband Ryan is 36. We've been married for 8 years, together for 11. No kids. Not because we didn't want them, just life kept getting pushed forward. Promotions, moves, stress. Maybe next year. You know how that goes. If you had asked me a year ago, I would have said we were solid. Not perfect, but stable, comfortable. The kind of couple that doesn't fight much because we just don't talk about things that could turn into fights. Looking back, that should have been my first clue. Ryan works in tech sales. He's good at it, makes decent money, and thrives on being around people. I'm a graphic designer, mostly freelance, working from home.
My world got smaller over the years, while his got bigger. At first, I didn't mind. I liked having control over my schedule, working in sweatpants, taking midday walks. But slowly, without realizing it, I became background noise in his life. It wasn't sudden. It was small things stacking up. He stopped asking about my day. He started checking his phone during dinner. If I was talking about a project or a client, his eyes would glaze over just enough for me to notice. Still, I told myself this was normal. People settle. Life gets busy. Not everything stays exciting forever. Then came the night that changed everything. It was a Friday, early fall. Boise had that crisp air where you can finally open the windows without sweating. I'd made dinner. Nothing fancy, just pasta and a salad. And I was actually excited because Ryan had said he'd be home early. He wasn't. He came in around 8:30. Loosened tie, faint smell of cologne that wasn't the one I bought him. Not strong enough to accuse, but enough to notice. "Hey," I said from the kitchen. "Hey," he replied, distracted, already scrolling through his phone. "Dinner's been ready for a while." "Yeah, sorry, work thing ran late." That was always the answer. We sat down to eat, and for a few minutes it was quiet, except for the clink of forks. I tried to start a conversation. "I got that project I told you about? The branding one for the outdoor company?" "Mm-hmm," he said, not looking up. "It's actually a pretty big deal. They found me through a referral." "That's good." "That's good." That was it? Something in me snapped a little. Not dramatically, just quietly, like a thread pulling loose. "Ryan," I said, putting my fork down, "are you even listening to me?" He sighed like I just asked him to solve a math problem. "I am. You got a project. That's great." "You don't sound like you care." "I do care. Claire, I just had a long day, okay?" I stared at him. "You always have a long day. And you always want to have this conversation." That stung more than I expected. "What conversation?" "Asking you to be present." He rolled his eyes. "Can we not do this right now?" I should have dropped it. I know that now. But something about the way he said it, like I was a nuisance, like my feelings were just another chore, made me push. When then? Because we never talk anymore. "We talk." "No, we don't. We exist in the same house. That's not the same thing." He leaned back in his chair, clearly irritated. "What do you want me to say?" "I want you to act like I matter." There was a pause, a long one, and then he said it. "Claire, you're not the center of the universe." I blinked. "I'm not asking to be." then stop acting like it. My chest tightened. That's not what this is about. Then what is it about? He shot back. Because from where I'm sitting, you're upset that I don't give you constant attention. I'm upset that my husband treats me like I'm optional. He laughed. Not loud, but sharp. Everyone's replaceable. It's just reality.
But for me, it landed like a brick. Excuse me? I asked quietly. He shrugged. It's true. In work, in life, people move on. You adapt. That's how it works. I stared at him, waiting for him to backtrack, to soften it, to say, that's not what I meant. He didn't. So, I'm replaceable? I asked. He sighed again, clearly annoyed that we were still talking about this. You're twisting my words. I'm asking a simple question. He hesitated for half a second, then said, I mean, technically, yeah, we all are. Something inside me went completely still. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I didn't throw anything. I just nodded, slowly. Got it, I said. He went back to his food, like the conversation was over. And in a way it was. That night, I didn't sleep much. I laid in bed next to him, listening to his breathing, replaying that sentence over and over. Everyone's replaceable. We all are. Maybe he thought he was being philosophical. Maybe he thought it was some kind of practical truth. But all I heard was, you don't matter. Around 3 a.m., I got out of bed and went to the living room. I sat on the couch, staring at nothing. And for the first time in years, I let myself ask a question I'd been avoiding.
If I disappeared, how long would it take him to notice? Not physically vanish. I'm not talking about anything extreme. I mean, emotionally, practically. What would actually change in his life? The answer came too quickly. Not much. That realization hurt more than anything he'd said. The next morning, Ryan acted like nothing had happened. He grabbed coffee, checked emails, asked if we had any plans that weekend. I watched him like I was looking at a stranger. No plans, I said. Cool. I might meet up with Jason later, watch the game. Okay. He paused, glancing at me. You good? I smiled. It felt strange on my face. Yeah, I'm good. And for the first time in a long time, I meant it. Just not in the way he thought. That day, I started planning. Not revenge, not some dramatic confrontation, just an exit. I didn't tell anyone at first, not even my closest friend, Megan.
I needed space to think without outside opinions clouding everything. I opened a new bank account in my name only, moved some of my freelance income there. I started looking at apartments, small ones, nothing fancy, just something that was mine. Boise isn't huge, but there are pockets that feel completely different. I found a one-bedroom near the north end, close to a little park and a coffee shop that stayed open late. It felt quiet, in a good way. Over the next few weeks, I kept everything normal on the surface. I cooked, I cleaned, I nodded through conversations about his job, his coworkers, his plans. But inside, I was slowly detaching. I stopped sharing details about my day, stopped asking questions I knew he wouldn't really answer, stopped trying. And the thing is, he didn't notice. Not once did he say, You seem different. Not once did he ask, "Are we okay?" It was like I'd already faded out, and he was just used to the shape I left behind. That made it easier. I signed the lease after 3 weeks, moved some essentials quietly. Clothes he wouldn't notice, work equipment, personal things.
I stored them at Megan's place, finally looping her in. When I told her everything, she just stared at me for a long time. "He said that to you?" she asked. "Yeah." "And you didn't throw something at his head?" I didn't have the energy. She shook her head. "Claire, that's not just a bad comment. That's how he sees you." "I know." "Are you sure about this? Leaving like this?" I thought about it. About confrontation, about sitting him down and explaining everything. "He already told me who I am to him," I said. "I'm just responding to that." The final step took another 2 weeks. I waited for a day when he'd be gone most of the time. He had a work conference out of town, just overnight. The morning he left, he kissed me on the cheek like always. "See you tomorrow," he said. "Yeah," I replied. That was the last time I saw him as his wife. Once he was gone, I packed the rest of my things. Not everything. I left furniture, dishes.
Before I left, I wrote a note. Not long, not emotional. "Ryan, you said everyone is replaceable. I'm taking your advice. Claire." I placed it on the kitchen counter where he'd see it first. Then I walked out. The first night in my new apartment was strange. No familiar sounds, no shared routines. Just me, a mattress on the floor, and the hum of the city outside. But it wasn't lonely. It was peaceful. Ryan called the next day. I didn't answer. He called again and again. Eventually he texted, "What is this? Where are you?" I waited a few hours before replying. I moved out. His response came almost instantly. "Are you serious? Over what?" I stared at that message for a long time. Over what? That said everything. I typed back, "Not just one thing." He called again. I let it go to voicemail. Then came more texts. Confusion turned to frustration. "This is insane. Claire, you can't just disappear. Talk to me." I read them all, but I didn't respond right away.
For once, I wasn't rushing to fix something. A few days later, we finally spoke on the phone. He sounded shaken. Not devastated, just off balance. "Why didn't you just talk to me?" he asked. "I did," I said. "For years. That's not fair. Neither is being told I'm replaceable. I didn't mean it like that." "How did you mean it?" There was silence. "I was just saying a general thing," he said finally. "But you said it to me." In that moment, I was frustrated. So was I. Another pause. "Are you coming back?" he asked. And there it was, the question he really cared about. I took a deep breath. "No, Claire. I'm done." "Ryan, you're throwing away our marriage over one comment." "It wasn't one comment," I said. "It was the truth behind it." "That's not true." "Then why didn't you notice anything was wrong before this?" He didn't have an answer. "I needed you to care," I continued. "To see me, and you didn't. I do care." "Now you do," I said gently, "because something changed for you." That hurt him. I could hear it in his voice. "So that's it?" he asked. 8 years, just over?" "It's been over for a while," I said. "I just finally caught up to it." We ended the call shortly after. The divorce process started a few weeks later. It was surprisingly straightforward.
No kids, no major shared assets beyond the house, which we agreed to sell. We kept it civil, almost like business partners dissolving a company. Sometimes, late at night, I think about that moment at the dinner table, about how one sentence shifted everything. I don't think Ryan is a bad person. I think he got comfortable, detached, maybe even a little selfish without realizing it. And I think I let myself become smaller to fit into that version of our life. But here's the thing I've realized since leaving. Being replaceable isn't the worst thing. Being invisible is. And I refuse to be that again.